students, welcome to an English language lesson. This is SPM speaking paper. The code is 1119-3. I am Madam Gan. 3. So paper 3 is speaking paper. So this speaking paper, the code is 1119-3. The timing is about 13 minutes. Number of items, there are 3 parts. So you have, first one is the interview, followed by individual long term based on text or verbal prompts, and the third part is a discussion based on mind map stimulus. And also in the third part, you have further discussion tasks. And then the rating is 25% of the overall candidate grade. Again, let's look at the 3 parts. First of all, you are asked questions. So there are type of questions. So these are control tasks where you have short individual responses. So here, remember, you have to only give short answers. And for part 2, it is individual long term, means you have to speak longer with a listening candidate response question. Then part 3, it is a discussion with your partner. So discussion task followed by another part which is decision making, and then further discussion tasks. Dear students, now let's go to part 1. Part 1 is individual interview or short answers. Okay, here you are asked certain questions such as, what's your name? Then another question will be, for example, where do you live or where do you come from? And another question, how do you come to school? So this is phase 1, followed by phase 2. Phase 2, for example, now I'm going to ask you about your daily routine. So the main questions, number 1, for example, you can be asked to answer, what do you normally do after you wake up? What do you usually do after coming back from school? How do you spend your leisure time? What do you do on weekends? So these are the daily questions about your daily routine. Dear students, now for part 2, they are called individual long term. So here you have longer questions to answer. Here, how many tasks do you have? For example, the topic is on a family celebration. So there are 4 tasks here. Remember, you should answer all the questions. So here, you'll be asked to speak, okay, for about a minute. Now let's go to part 3, where you have the discussion. So time is about 2 minutes. So each candidate will have 1 minute to speak on 3 points. Next, you have 1 minute, both of you, you have 1 minute. You have to make a decision. Make a decision here means you have to choose the best answer or the best idea. Now the last part for part 3, it is called further discussion. Here you have 2 minutes to answer. So here you can't see the question. You can only listen to the interlocutor who will read out the question to you. So you remember here, you have 2 minutes to discuss. Dear students, before we begin our practice, let's go through the assessment skills. For assessment skill, there are 3 types of content that they will give you the marks. The first one is grammar. So what is grammar? Grammar is the ability to communicate accurately with control of grammatical structure. So you must make sure that whatever you say is grammatically correct, and also the ability to link utterances together using cohesive devices. So remember, you have to use your cohesive devices or linking words. And grammar also involves the ability to consistently use grammar accurately and appropriately to convey intended meaning. So whatever you say, it must be grammatically correct. The most important thing is remember your tenses. So read the question properly and make sure that you use the correct tense, whether it is present tense or past tense. And the last one, grammar also is included. Okay, what is it? Cohesion. So cohesion means how you link your ideas. So it refers to the extent to which a candidate uses his or their linguistic resources to organize the ideas, the logical sequencing of content, and the way cohesive devices such as linking words, relative pronouns, substitution, ellipsis, and so on are used. Okay. So grammar is more on the ability for you to use the correct grammar structure, and also maybe be careful with the tenses and don't forget the linking words. Now let's look at the second content for the marks vocabulary. So here for vocabulary, it is the ability to use vocabulary to convey meaning and also appropriate vocabulary which is suitable to the content and your intended meaning. The last part of the content for marks is called communicative competence. So here it is the ability to produce naturally flowing speech, to sustain a conversation despite hesitation, to make their meaning clear and to clarify the meaning of others. So here it means that you have to have a conversation which is quite smooth without or with few pauses, and then make sure that communicative competence also, it is about relative ease in which speaker can initiate, maintain, and close an interaction. So there must be turn taking between the two friends or the two students or candidates where you can start the conversation, you can elaborate, you take turn, you can agree, disagree, you can give suggestion, and also you can make a decision and end your conversation. Dear students, here you're going to look at the scale, assessment scale, okay, or the marks according to the bands. So here you have how many bands? You have here different marks, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these are the bands or the score. And here remember you have the three contents again where you have grammar, vocabulary, and communicative competence. So to score the highest marks, 6, you must make sure that you fulfill all these criteria, especially for grammar, vocabulary, and communicative competence. Dear students, now let's look at the marks given by the assessor. So how to get the score of 6? Here remember for grammar, consistently maintains a high degree of grammatical accuracy. Errors are rare, so you don't make grammatical errors or difficult to spot and generally corrected when they do occur. So when you are speaking, if you realize that you have made a grammatical error, or maybe when you are speaking, you realize that you are using the wrong tense. For example, instead of using past tense, you use present tense. So when you realize this and then you correct the error, so you can still get the score of 6. Then you must have a good command of a wide range of grammatical structures. So here you must make sure that you have a few types of sentences, which for example, simple, complex, or compound. Then you can use a wide range of organizational patterns. Then remember, you have to use the cohesive devices and also connectors. That's how you can score band 6. And how to get 6 for vocabulary? You need to use a wide range of appropriate vocabulary to give and exchange views on a wide range of abstract, complex, and unfamiliar topics. So you must really use good or high-level vocabulary, and also it is the words that you use are suitable for the topics. It means you have to answer the task correctly. And then you can convey specific differences in meaning through appropriate choice of vocabulary. So you must use suitable vocabulary. Then for the last one, CC or communicative competence. Here, to get the score of 6, you can express yourself spontaneously with little obvious searching for expressions. So it means that your conversation or whatever you are explaining, it must be smooth and without hesitation. Okay, then you can initiate Initiate means you start a conversation, you can maintain, you can continue the conversation, you can develop the ideas and close a conversation with ease. So ease here means less hesitation or pausing. Okay, next. Can relate, you can relate contributions skillfully and effectively to those of his or her partner. It means here you can converse with your partner using expressions or functions such as to agree, to disagree, to negotiate, and also maybe to make decision. Okay, so these are some of the criteria for scoring 6 for communicative competence. Now, this is another assessment scale. This is for the interlocutor. So here you can see that it is an overall spoken performance. So you have the band or the score of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here to score 6 marks, you have to make sure that you fulfill the overall spoken performance or the criteria for band 6. Dear students, let's look at the score of 6. How to get score of 6? Okay, so this is the interlocutor's marks. So you need to be able to understand questions and instructions directed at you with ease. So it means that you can understand the question and answer the questions or the tasks. You can ask and respond to questions and suggestions, including those on abstract and complex topics. It means that you have to be able to use good vocabulary, okay? And you can maintain and develop the interaction. So here, it means that you are able to maintain a conversation with your partner and develop your ideas. So this is related to turn taking and compensating for gaps in their own vocabulary or grammar knowledge or of the other candidate. So here definitely you have to use suitable vocabulary and also grammar with your partner in the conversation. Then you can produce extended relevant stretches of language with very little prompting or support. It means that you can hold a conversation which is quite smooth and accurate. So that's how you can get the band score of 6. Now, students, let's look at the sample answers. So here for the sample answers, we are going to go through the dialogues. Let's look at the first part. First part is individual interview or short answers. So, for example, for the question, what's your name? So you can say, my name is Ali. Okay, if your name is long, you can say, my name is Muhammad Ali Ridwan bin Hussein. You can call me Ridwan. Okay, and the next question, where do you live or where you come from? You can say, I live in 17 Jalan Delima 2 Taman Delima, Seremban. Okay, or you can say, you can answer for the next question, how do you come to school? You can answer, I come to school by bus, or I walk to school, or I come to school by car, or my mother sends me to school in her car. And then for the second phase, you are going to be asked questions related to your daily routine. For example, the first question, what do you normally do after you wake up? So you can answer, after I wake up, normally I brush my teeth and wash my face. Then, so this is the linking word then, I wear my uniform. After that, I take a light breakfast. So remember to use your linking words. Second question, what do you usually do after coming back from school? So you can answer, after coming back from school, I usually take a shower, then I have my lunch. Third question, how do you spend your leisure time? You can say, I spend my leisure time doing things that I like, such as watching television and playing badminton with my friends. And the last question, what do you do on weekends? You can answer, on weekends I have to attend tuition classes because I'm sitting for SPM examination this year. Sometimes my parents take me shopping or visiting my grandparents and other relatives. Now students, let's continue with part 2. This is individual long term. So when you are given this question, remember that you have 20 seconds to think of your ideas. Okay, so when you answer, it is about a minute. So here, let's look at the questions. A family celebration. Talk about a family celebration you had recently. So remember when you see the word had. Okay, so you see the word had here. So you should know that you have to answer in past tense. So let's look at other words to confirm that it is past tense. So the first one, what the event was. So definitely you have to answer in past tense. What you did, okay, a past event. Activities that you did you enjoy? So your feeling when you had the celebration. And the last question, why family celebrations are important in Malaysia? So this is asking for your opinion. So here you have to answer in present tense. Okay, so let's look at the answer. So this is how you start your conversation. Okay, remember you have to answer all the 4 tasks. You can answer. Okay, a family celebration I had recently was my 17th birthday. My family had the celebration at home. My parents prepared all the decoration and my sibling bought a cake. Since it was a surprise party, I didn't do much. When the cake was brought out, I blew out the candles and made my wishes. I also played some games prepared by my siblings like musical chairs and pin the donkey tail. Moreover, remember here you have to use the cohesive devices. Okay, so in between the answers just now where you have the activities, you can use linkers like since, when, and. Okay, so let's continue with the third task. Moreover, I enjoyed myself as it was totally a surprise party or a great surprise, and I really liked the presents my parents and siblings gave me. Okay, so here, whether you're talking about a present or many presents is up to you. Okay, so if it's a present, you can say it was a maybe smartphone that I had wished for. Okay, for the last task, since it is asking for opinion, you have to use phrases like in my opinion, okay, from my point of view, or I believe. Okay, so you have to use these expressions. In my opinion, family celebrations are important in Malaysia because they can strengthen family bonds as we spend quality times together. Okay, so these are the answers for all the 4 tasks. Dear students, now let's go to part 3. So part 3, there are 3 phases. First phase is discussion, the second phase is decision making, and the third phase is further discussion. So here the first phase is discussion. So remember here you are given 20 seconds to think of your ideas, and each candidate have to choose 3 ideas or points from the mind map. Okay, then another candidate has to choose another 3. So here, when you speak, each candidate has about a minute. Okay, so here, this is a sample or the script where you can fill in the ideas. So here you have candidate A and candidate B. So candidate A is going to choose follow the trend, no crowd, and time saving. And candidate B is going to choose wide variety, convenient, and better prices. So what is the topic about? So the question is, why do people shop online? So here, let's look at the dialogue. So A or candidate A can say, let's start our discussion. And for example, your friend's name is Brian. So let's start our discussion, Brian. In my opinion, so you're going to use A. It's one of the best reasons why people shop online. This is because you have to give your reason or elaboration. And then you have candidate B or Brian. Yes, that's a good opinion. You can call your friend Ali. Okay. Another reason for shopping online is, so candidate B is going to choose B1 wide variety. Allow me to elaborate on this. Then you give your reason. What do you think, Ali? Then Ali is going to say, well, you do have a point there. Brian, I would like to add that. So you give another reason. A2, no crowds, is also a reason for people to choose online shopping. When? So here you give your elaboration. And then Brian can say, I agree with you, Ali. In addition, people shop online because. So here Brian is going to give B2 or answer is, or the idea is convenient. This means that then you have to give your reason. And Ali is going to say, furthermore, I believe that, so this is A3, time saving is another good reason. Then you give your elaboration or reason. What about? So maybe you want to ask Brian the last answer, okay, for Brian, which is better prices. So you can say, what about better prices, Brian? Then Brian or B can say, sure, better prices is another reason. When people shop online, so here also you provide your reason. Dear students, let's look at the sample conversation. Here A is Ali and B is Brian. So let's start. Let's start our discussion, Brian. In my opinion, follow the trend is one of the best reasons why people shop online. This is because they can choose items which are top sellers. Yes, that's a good opinion. Another reason for shopping online is variety. Allow me to elaborate on this. There are a lot of choices on online shops compared to shopping malls. What do you think, Ali? Well, you do have a point there, Brian. I would like to add that no crowd is also another reason for people to choose online shopping. When people shop online, they do not have to compete with others or line up to pay for the goods. I agree with you. In addition, people shop online because it is convenient. This means that when people buy things online, they do not have to dress up and go out to the shops. They just click a few buttons to buy an item online. Furthermore, I believe that time saving is another good reason. People save time as they can sit in the comfort of their home and order things using a smartphone or laptop. This takes only a few minutes. What about better prices, Brian? Sure, better prices is another reason. When people shop online, they can compare prices from different shops. Therefore, they are able to choose the lowest price. Okay, so here is an example of the conversation. And remember, when you speak, don't forget your cohesive devices or linking words. Dear students, now let's look at part 2 or part 3, phase 2. This is decision making. So there are two ways of doing this. In the decision, whether both of you can agree on an idea or you can disagree. So remember here the time is only 1 minute. So 1 minute means you can only elaborate on one point or idea. So let's look at the sample dialogue here. So you can fill in the blanks with your answers. So let's look at A and B. Now let's make a decision on the best reason people shop online. From my point of view, the answer is, for example, here you're going to choose A3, which is time saving. Okay, the answer is time saving. I choose this reason because, so you have to give your idea. Okay, and B can answer, which is to agree. Yes, I agree with you. What do you agree with? It is A3. So you can say time saving. Okay, I agree with you. Time saving. Okay, so I agree with you. Time saving is the best answer. Then you can say, I would like to add that. So here you can add your reason or elaboration or your point. Then lastly, A can say, teacher, both of us agree that time saving is the best reason for people to shop online. Now students, let's try out the conversation. Now let's make a decision on the best reason people shop online. From my view, the answer is time saving. I choose this reason because when we shop online, we need not waste time driving to the shopping mall or taking a bus there. In addition, we will not have to queue up to pay for our items, especially during sales. Yes, I agree with you. I would like to add that time saving also means we will not waste time being caught in a traffic jam, or when we are in a shop, we waste time looking for the products in various sections or aisles. If we cannot find the item, we have to look for a salesperson to help us out. Teacher, both of us agree that time saving is the best reason for people to shop online. So this is the part 3, phase 2, where you make decision. Okay, this is to agree. Now students, let's try another answer. It is still part 3, phase 2, decision making, but here you are going to disagree. So sometimes if you feel that your friend, the reason given by your friend is not suitable, you can also choose your own reason. So let's look at the sample script here. Now let's make a decision on the best reason people shop online. From my view, the answer is maybe A3, time saving. I choose this reason because, then you give your reason. But candidate B will say, sorry, I have to disagree. Or you can say, I have to disagree with you. I believe that people shop online because, so here maybe candidate B or Brian wants to choose B1, which is wide variety. So you can say, I believe that people shop online because of its wide variety. This is the reason. So you give your reason or your opinion. Now students, let's try the conversation. Now let's make a decision, Brian. Okay, or you can say now let's make a decision on the best reason people shop online. From my view, the answer is time saving. I choose this reason because when we shop online, we need not waste time driving to the shopping mall or taking a bus there. In addition, we will not have to queue up to pay for our items. But here, Brian or candidate B is going to disagree. Sorry, I have to disagree with you. I believe that people shop online because of the wide variety. This is the reason. Online shopping offers more items to choose from compared to the shops in the mall. For example, when you buy a shirt, there are more colors and sizes to choose when you shop online. Okay, so when you disagree, remember you still have to give your reasons. Dear students, now for part 3, phase 3, which is further discussion. The time or timing is 2 minutes, so each candidate has a minute. So I advise you, for each candidate, you have to present 2 ideas or opinions. Okay, here, there is no card in front of you, or the card will be taken back because we have finished phase 2 just now, which is discussion about based on a mind map. Okay, so here you need to listen carefully because the interlocutor will read out the question or the instruction. For example, here you have been talking about why people shop online. Now let's hear your opinion on this. In what ways does advertising on social media influence people's buying behavior? So here you have to listen carefully and then you have to answer. For example, let's look at the script. In my opinion, advertising on social media influences people buying behavior. Why? So you can give your first reason. What do you think, Brian? So you can ask your friend. Yes, that's true. Other than that, so Brian or candidate B has to give his or her reason. I totally agree with you, Brian. Can I add another opinion? Sure, Ali. Moreover, so A or Ali is going to add another reason. And then you have candidate B or Brian, let's not forget. So you also have to give your second reason. So students, let's try out the last phase, which is phase 3 of part 3. This is further discussion. Remember here, candidates have to give opinions, okay, but you need not make or come to a decision or conclusion. So let's begin. A, okay, or Ali, in my opinion, advertising on social media influences people buying behavior by making them buy things that they may not need. When we see celebrities on their social media advertising certain products, we tend to buy the items on impulse. What do you think, Brian? Yes, that's true. Other than that, these advertisements make people buy more items, therefore increasing the sales of these things. I totally agree with you, Brian. Can I add another opinion? Sure, Ali. Moreover, when people see the advertisements, they can also follow the latest trends. Buyers have the latest information on the top sales or the popular products. Let's not forget social media reviews on the advertisements. Reviews contain comments that are helpful in guiding buyers to purchase the item or not. So this is an example of further discussion. Remember that each candidate has a minute to express about maybe 2 opinions. Dear students, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it will benefit you, especially in your speaking paper. So best of luck in your coming SPM examination. You can do it. Okay, bye bye.